Why your dog never stops watching you. Not staring, not demanding hoost, watching. The way water watches a riverbank quietly, continuously, without needing anything back. The way a lighthouse keeps its beam moving whether or not there's a ship to guide. Present, steady, unwilling to look away. Max watched James from the moment James woke up to the moment James turned off the light. Not every second, but always nearby, always oriented, always with one eye, one ear, one part of himself pointed in James's direction. James had noticed it early, in the first months, and assumed it was neediness. Separation, anxiety, something to be trained out of. He was wrong about what it was. What he was seeing was not anxiety. It was attention. And the difference between those two things is the difference between a dog who is afraid of losing you and a dog who has decided that you are the most interesting and important thing in his world. Max wasn't watching James because he was afraid. He was watching James because James was to Max, the primary source of information about what was happening, what was coming, and whether the world was safe. Dogs evolved alongside humans for 15,000 years, not BCD US. Alongside us, watching us, reading us, learning to decode the exact signals that tell them what a human is about to do next. The tilt of a shoulder, the reach toward a coat hook, the sound of keys, the particular way a person's breathing changes when something is wrong, the subtle shift in posture that means sit down versus leave. Dogs became fluent in a language humans don't even know they're speaking, a language made of movement and breath and the quality of stillness in a room. No other animal on Earth did this. Not in this way. Not to this degree. Cats notice. Horses read mood. But dogs built their entire social world around the human face and body around us specifically, as individuals, as the center of something that functions neurologically, like family. Researchers at the University of Vienna found that dogs follow human gaze with the same precision and intention that human infants do. When a person looks at something, a dog looks at it too. Not because they were trained to, but because they have learned, across thousands of years and thousands of interactions, that where a human's attention goes, something meaningful usually follows. They are reading you. They have always been reading you. The difference is that they are much better at it than you know. James didn't know this when Max was young. He would move around the house, from the kitchen to the living room, from the desk to the window, and Max would get up, follow, settle again. James assumed this was about proximity, about not wanting to be alone. It was only years later, when he started paying attention to what Max was actually doing, not just where he was, that he understood. Max wasn't following. He was tracking. There is a difference. Following is about being near. Tracking is about staying informed. Every time James moved, Max recalibrated, registered the direction, the pace, the mood behind the movement, filed it somewhere, adjusted his own posture and alertness accordingly. When James moved fast, Max's ears came up. When James moved slowly through the house on a tired evening, Max's eyes When James finally sat down, Max exhaled a long, quiet breath. The kind that says, "Good, we are staying. I can rest now." He was using James as a barometer. This is one of the most profound things about the relationship between a dog and its person, and one of the least talked about. The dog is almost never just resting. They are resting while monitoring. They are sleeping while remaining aware. Their nervous system holds a state of relaxed vigilance that most humans will never experience. Calm, but not absent. Present, but not tense. Soft, but not switched off. And the person they are oriented toward is the reason they can hold both of those things at once. You are not just their companion. You are their anchor, the fixed point around which their entire nervous system organizes itself. A dog who watches you is not a dog who needs you to do something. It is a dog who has placed you at the center of their understanding of the world. You are their reference point, their north. When you are calm, they are calm. When you are unsettled, they feel it before you've said a word, before you've moved, before you've done anything at all that could rationally communicate distress. They feel it in the room, in the quality of the air between you. James learned this the hard way. There was a period, about 8 months, somewhere in the middle of a difficult year, when James was carrying something he was talking about. Work had become heavy in a way that was hard to name. A friendship had ended badly, the kind of ending that leaves a residue. He wasn't sleeping well, wasn't eating on any particular schedule, wasn't fully present in the ways he normally was. He kept his voice the same, his routines mostly intact. He took Max on the same walks, at the same times, along the same routes. He thought he was hiding it well. Max knew within the first week, not because of anything James said, not because of anything James did differently in any way he could have identified. Max knew because he was watching, because he had been watching for years, and he knew what James looked like when James was okay, and this was not that. Something in the weight of James's footstep was different. Something in the pace of his breathing in the evenings. Something in the quality of the way he sat in a room. The particular kind of stillness that is not rest but exhaustion. Max started sleeping closer, not pressed against James in the warm, loose way he sometimes did on good evenings, but positioned deliberately between James and the door. He stopped going to his usual spot by the window and instead settled at James's feet. He checked in more frequently throughout the day. A nose to James's knee, a pause, a look that lasted just a beat longer than usual. Not demanding anything, not asking James to perform wellness he didn't have. Just saying, with his body, the only way he could say anything, "I'm still here. I'm watching. I know something is different, and I'm not going anywhere." A study from Queen's University, Belfast found that dogs are highly sensitive to their owner's emotional state and will actively attempt to provide comfort when they detect distress, not because they were trained to, but because the bond produces a natural orientation toward the person's well-being. The dog doesn't evaluate whether comfort is appropriate, or whether the moment is right, or whether the person wants to be approached. It simply moves toward the person. It closes the distance. It stays. James didn't realize Max had been doing this. Not consciously. Not fully. Until the 8th month, when something in him shifted and the weight began to lift. He noticed that evening that Max had moved back to his spot by the window, that he was lying in the particular loose way that meant full relaxation, that the checking in had stopped. He hadn't moved back because James told him to. He moved back because he could feel, in whatever way dogs feel these things, in the room, in the breath, in the quality of the stillness, that James was okay, that the barometer had changed, that the weather had cleared. James sat with that for a long time. That is what it means when your dog watches you. Not need, not anxiety, not boredom. Something older than all of that, and stranger, and far more faithful. 15,000 years of choosing to pay attention. 15,000 years of learning one species, reading one species, building an entire internal world around one species, and then staying, generation after generation, not because they had to, but because somewhere along the way it became who they were. Max is watching you right now, or it will be. The moment you move, the moment your breathing changes, the moment something in the room shifts and his ears come up and he orients quietly in your direction. Not because he needs something, because you are, to him, the most important thing in the room, the most important thing in the day, the most important thing in the only world he has ever known. And he wants to make sure you're okay. If this video stayed with you, share it with someone whose dog does the same thing. And if you want to understand what your dog is telling you every day, in every quiet moment, subscribe to Silent Paw Pack. Because they speak more than words, we just have to learn how to listen.